How are you, Rob?
Very good.
A lot to uncover, a lot of crazy things happening
Always.
this entire week, starting from something interesting that I don't think a lot of people heard about because we're from California and we only talk about things that happen in California. But there's this mayoral candidate running in New York to be the mayor of New York, the biggest city in the country.
You just beat Cuomo.
And he is only 33 years old. He is a Indian from Uganda, and he just became a U.S. citizen in 2018. And he is Muslim, and he is a I don't want to use the word socialist, but he is bringing a lot of social programs to the city, and one of them.
What does he do now?
He got elected to the New York State Assembly in 2020.
Okay.
Right, Tom? Yeah, he got elected to New York State Assembly in 2020, and now he is running. He's a member of the Democratic Socialists of America.
Like our friend Constantine Anthony
Constantine Anthony.
is a Democratic Socialist.
Yeah, he's a Democratic Socialist from Burbank, California.
That's right.
Yeah, and did you see what he's proposing?
I know that I saw some videos where he was talking about we need more Muslims in leadership.
Yeah, and we were actually discussing today, me and Tom, that Tom mentioned how two of the largest cities in the world, one of them being London, and then New York now possibly may have a Muslim mayor.
Wow.
And I'm okay with that. That's not the problem for me. What my problem is that proposing rent freezes, proposing
Minimum wage of $30.
minimum wage of $30, proposing the city to take over grocery stores and have
Mosques.
having grocery stores owned by the city of New York.
Oh yeah, that's
and
great. Communism.
All these types of policies.
So socialism is probably like the top of the slide, and slide down to just communism to the bottom of the slide. That's, I mean, if you're talking about making government grocery stores, that's communism.
Yeah.
Government controls the food.
So
He's not a socialist. He's a communist.
I was in Canada and I was in Quebec, okay, and in Montreal, and I love the city. It's a beautiful city, great people. And for a moment, slight moment, because I loved it so much, I was thinking, hey, why don't I move to Canada, for example? And then I found out that Canada is the least business-friendly country in the world. You can't open up a liquor store. You can't own anything liquor or cigarette affiliated because everything is owned by the government. And I don't know if this guy wants to do something in similarity, but that's like taking the opportunity for small business to go away, taking the opportunity, from people to, making their own money and paving their own path and way.
No, we talk about this topic often on this podcast, but there's a movement to destroy the United States from within, and I believe people like this and people like AOC and people like Gavin Newsom, good guys like this running, who's talking about we need to get more Muslims involved, and I'm sorry, it's not really. I mean, and all religions are what they are, but I mean, this what you're in America, okay? Just fucking focus on being an American.
So that's what I wanted to mention. You can be whatever you want. You can be
Yeah.
Muslim, Christian, a Jew. It doesn't matter. You can be Hindu, but as long as you're protecting, the rights and you're protecting the values of this country, whatever this country was founded on, I don't care what you are. But if you're bringing up, propositions and ideas that's gonna ruin your country, or your city, or your state within, like you mentioned, then I think, people like that shouldn't be elected.
I mean, what's going on in London? I mean, it seems like there's a backlash.
London has a very high crime rate. London is no different than any large democratic, or I don't want to say democratic, super left-wing run city in America. I don't think it's too different than that. And
no, I know of Muslim people who are really, they're very Americanized, okay? in or United States or whatever. And then you have a faction of them that abuse women, think women are dogs, and you know, how do you differentiate when you got these guys running and he wants to make grocery stores run by the government? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Besides that, hold on. Tom, can you pull up Zohran, Muslims to be in and run City Hall? Can you pull up that video?
100,000 of us are registered to vote as Democrats. In the last election, only 7% of us voted. Now, I will not blame anyone because often it feels like there isn't much to vote for. But this June 24th,
Not much to vote
with
for.
early voting starting tomorrow, it is an opportunity. An opportunity for us to show that Muslims don't just belong in New York City, we also belong in City Hall. Because yesterday I stood on the debate and Andrew Cuomo stood next to me. And here was a man who was the governor for a decade, and he could not name a single mosque he had ever visited.
So I was up in San Francisco in October. I think it was October last year, and I walked into this really beautiful church. I think it's a Christian base. I don't think it might have been Catholic. And the priest was talking about how we cannot vote for Kamala Harris. Okay? I think these type of religious movements are anti-American. I don't think these people should be telling, we have nothing to vote for. I know we have nothing to vote for right now. You're supposed to keep religion out of politics.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I was.
And that's
gonna
why
say.
I don't like people like this.
Even if it's a Christian church, I don't think anybody should advocate to vote for one party or one candidate.
The problem is
or
you have millions of religious cattle, and they just follow wherever the leader tells them to do. They don't think for themselves.
That cattle is not only religious, but it's also in politics, and they vote only for color, or they vote only based on party lines, and that's very, very unfortunate. And mostly, what I think, mostly these people who are Muslim and from all over the world who live in New York, well, guess what? They're gonna vote for this guy to be the first democratic socialist mayor of America.
Who's the Republican running against them?
Who is the Republican running? Well, Andrew Cuomo is one of them. The current mayor, Eric Adams, is running.
Well, Cuomo got
who's the incumbent.
Didn't Cuomo just lost? He lost the Democratic primary to this guy.
Oh, he lost it already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. So no more Cuomo. And I can't believe Cuomo from governor, he's coming to run for mayor of New York, and
after the woman scandal.
Yeah, exactly. After a few of the scandals that he had, he was inspired by Bernie Sanders' 2016 campaign.
I had to shut it off last night. I was listening to him. He's on Joe Rogan.
He emphasizes public ownership, economic equity, tenant rights, and community-led public safety. I mean, there are some good things, and tenant rights, absolutely, that's great. Public ownership of what? Public ownership of what?
That's communism.
This country is based on private ownership, almost, everything. And this guy's advocating for public ownership and when he says public, that can be a little bit, deceitful, because the public would understand they will have some ownership rather than the government having ownership of an entity.
Yeah, so I'm looking right now at the 12 candidates for mayor in New York, and only one is Republican Curtis Silwa. And what I'm noticing right now is this, okay? Eric Adams, Independent. Cuomo, Democrat. Landers, Democrat. I mean, there's no representation for Republicans in the city.
I know, but that's like that in every single Democratic city in America. I look at L.A.
No, but here's my thing. Are Republican guys who are running, like the police officer, what's his name?
Sheriff Luna?
In Bakersfield.
Oh, yeah. Not Luna, excuse me. What's his name? He's running for governor. He's a Republican.
What I'm trying to say is this.
He has no chance.
But here's my thing. A lot of Republicans like him, and some Democrats actually like him for the law.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see in the whole city.
I know, but
New York,
after the current, the riots and the ICE immigration issue here locally in LA, I don't think this guy's gonna have a chance. You know, people are gonna say, "Oh, you know, he's gonna be one of those that's gonna want to bring in ICE immigration people and be okay with it for ICE to terrorize people and take them away, legal or illegal."
Is this
So-
guy Curtis? He looks like the guardian angels from the 1980s.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
yeah, I think that's what he.
The
He's got the hat on,
the hat is wearing. Yeah.
the beret. I bet you that's him.
And I would just like to reinstate to our listeners right now that, you know, we're not Islamic phobic. We're not against Islam. Right, guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, no,
I'm not against anything.
So, and that's what I was just telling you. I don't care what religion you can be. You know.
Oh, I
what
am against
you are.
communism and Marxism
Yeah.
and socialism.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. Yeah, but you can be whatever you want as long as you're advocating for, you know, for America.
Yeah.
As long as you're advocating for the, you know, advocating freedom and the right reasons to run your city, state, or
The
whatever. your
capitalism
local
isn't the
government
perfect ism, but it's a lot better than the other ones.
Yeah, and you know, this country was an experiment. This government that was formed here, you know, 200 some odd years ago, was an experiment, and that experiment worked.
So was there no such thing as capitalism before this country was
So
founded?
Before the United States, every single other country in the world was a monarchy, right?
Yeah.
It was autocratic, you know,
Colonized?
colonized, you know, and during that time, you know, the most democratic country in the world was the one who colonized more than any other country in the world, which was Great Britain.
Yeah.
Great Britain had more colonies than anybody else during that time period. And then after World War II, guess who it is? It's us, the United
America.
States. We are the most democratic country in the world. However, at the same time, we were the ones who colonized many other, you know, governments, or try to overthrow those governments. And even though they may not be under U.S., you know, law and regulation, but they are heavily influenced by the U.S.
And we are at a point where we have a president that says on TV.
Oh my God, Tom, can you pull that up? That's the Trump F-bomb. That's going to be an interesting.
That's capitalism for you.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
You know what this tells me? He is so sick of what's going on right now. He tried to end it once and for all, and it just didn't work. And he's sick of it that both of them, both Israel and Iran, they're not on the same page, and they're just going at it.
But he did tell he told them enough. He said enough to Netanyahu, and they turned the planes back when they were going to bomb again.
Yeah, so he said we're going to have a ceasefire, right?
Yeah.
And then right after he said that, an hour later, apparently Israel launched a massive attack on Iran. And Israel is saying that Iran actually was the first one, and they're just going back and forth at it.
You're not going to solve it if you keep going, you know, no, it's your fault. 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 Come on, let's sit at the table. How much fucking money do you need to shut the up and
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you think we should have been involved? Do you think we should have used our, you know, bombers to attack Iran's nuclear sites?
First of all, I'm not the president of the United States. I'm not even in Congress. I'm not a senator. And all of these people with these fucking opinions and these journalists, they should shut the up. They don't know what's going on. If I was president, I don't know we don't know what the meetings were like. We don't know what they're talking about. We can only surmise what's going on. Now, if I was the president and they were close to getting nuclear weapons, I think, yeah.
So you're okay with it?
I'm okay with it.
But he was preaching all the time before getting elected, saying, hey, you know, I'm not going to drag us into another war.
Wait. Did he drag us in?
Well, you don't know that.
Okay,
You
so
don't- hold
we
on,
still
but-
don't know.
I know, but
That's what the media is saying.
He attacked another country.
We've
Did
been
he
at
not?
war with Iran since 1979.
What war? What war have we been at? Have we bombed Iran in any way, shape, or form?
We've been
before this?
you don't think sanctions is part of a
I know,
war?
it's an economic war. I
Okay,
get that.
so
That's
it's
a
still
little-
war.
I know, but that's a little bit different. That's not killing somebody. That's not
Who did he kill?
destroying. We don't know. He attacked nuclear sites.
According to the CNNs, he didn't kill anybody because he didn't do any damage.
According to CNN, there was no damage. Apparently, uranium was actually transported out way before because they anticipated that it was going to be those 3 nuclear sites that were going to be attacked. But that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is that he is preaching something else before getting elected, but doing completely otherwise when he's in office. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know what?
Do you think he was just trying to keep the Israelis happy for a moment?
No, I think he's been in negotiations for how long? I mean, the whole first 6 months he's been in negotiations with Russia and Ukraine and Israel and Iran. He's been meeting with these people.
I know, but
so it comes a time where you go, okay, look, it's Japan all over again, right? So Japan said, we don't want to cease fire. After he bombed Hiroshima, they bombed Nagasaki.
Listen, that's a completely different
No,
story.
but I'm saying sometimes you got to show force.
We had a Pearl Harbor. With show of force, we had a Pearl Harbor first and foremost. We don't have anything similar like that here right now. Nobody attacked America. Even though the rhetoric is yes, dead to America, dead to Israel, and
they
get that.
They didn't attack our ship recently.
What ship?
Right? Didn't they attack one of our ships within the last?
Our ships, Tom?
Yeah, in the.
I mean, before look what he did. Even during his first term, he killed one of their leaders, General Soleimani.
Yeah,
and it wasn't in Iran.
And I applaud it.
Listen, that's. I guess that's a different story, and there was no retaliation from Iran. There was no retaliation, right, from Iran?
See,
who are the Houthis, and why are they attacking ships in the Red Sea? What ships are these? U.S. ships?
They fired plenty of rockets at ships, but the Houthis are backed by Iran.
I know, I get that, but this is a proxy war. We do that all the time.
But wait a minute,
there's a proxy war. Since World War II, we had a proxy war.
Aren't they supporting Hamas?
Who?
Iran?
Yeah, they are.
Aren't they supporting all the other terrorist organizations?
Listen, I understand that, but why drag?
Isn't China bringing nuclear stuff into the country?
If you put it in that context,
yeah.
There's Russia, there's China, okay, who are considerable, much bigger threats than Iran to the United States.
So if you
they have proxy wars all the time as well. If that's the analogy we're having, let's attack the Russians. Let's attack the Chinese. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute, we're not at war with Russia.
I know, but we're not at war with Iran either.
They just fired. Look at they're firing stuff at us. You got to show us. You got to.
After you bombed their country.
No, we didn't bomb their country.
You didn't bomb their nuclear sites.
They were shooting missiles at our ships before, and at ships before we bombed. We just did this. This is only a couple days ago.
March 16th, 2025, the Houthis attacked Harry S. Truman.
Okay. So what do you mean? I mean, these nitwits.
Okay, listen. You want the Houthis attacked? Take out the Houthis, and that's what we've been doing as well.
You take out
the Houthis. Take out any terrorist organization.
Strategically,
Hezbollah.
Who else is this affecting?
What happened?
Who gets all their oil from frickin' Iran?
Who gets their oil from Iran?
China.
China's being one of their
guess
major
what? Now
importers.
they're not getting they're not getting any oil.
Who's not getting any oil?
China.
Well,
if he cuts it off
temporarily,
because they're sending ships in there, and they're putting stuff in Iran. From what I read, and like I said, I read it, I saw it. They're nervous that they were bringing nuclear, as they did with the fentanyl. Breaking the ingredients up and then sending the ingredients separately, and then putting it together in Canada and putting it together in Mexico. They're doing the same thing with this nuclear shit. They were ships that were shutting off their radar. I forget what they call that thing, but so they can't be detected. They don't know what's in those ships.
Listen, the Chinese, if they don't get oil from Iran, they'll get it from somebody else in the Middle East, or they'll get it from the Venezuelans or whoever, somebody. Iran is not the end of the world.
A chink in their armor, man. Just put a chink in their armor.
I know. I'm just saying that I don't think we should have attacked Iran in any way, shape, or form. I think if you wanted to attack the Houthis, fine. They're backed by Iran. Go ahead.
I'm more worried about who leaked the information that we were going to go over there, and they got the shit out of They were taking some of the nuclear stuff out of the thing. Who leaked?
What leak? Come on.
There was a
They're-
leak.
I know,
They
but-
were
but
out
they're not
days
stupid.
before.
I mean, he's been saying it forever that we should Iran shouldn't have any type of nuclear weapons.
Yeah, but they
And
have-
anticipated that if this guy is going to attack us, where is he going to attack? He's
So
going to
what's a
attack the nuclear sites.
What's it called? Fordham, one of the places. So
Yeah.
this is only a few of their nuclear facilities. They have more. These are the biggest ones.
I understand.
So
Listen, I understand, but have you seen the video? Can you pull up that Netanyahu video? If you go on YouTube, Netanyahu, how he's been saying for the past 30 years, from the 90s, he's been having the same punchlines, the same verbiage about Iran. Hey, they're like 6 months away. Hey, they're like a month away. Hey, they almost have a atom bomb. Hey, they're gonna attack us. And this is during almost every single UN speech he's having, or NATO speech he's having, whatever. And this is just an ongoing issue. So what I'm trying to say is that this is an Israel problem. Israel wants to deal with them. Let them deal with them.
oh, I agree. Yeah, I'm not
Israel wants to bomb Iran. Hey,
Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year. It could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone without importing.
you can stop. You can stop here.
okay.
1992.
So first of all, I'm not a fan of Bibi.
33 years. This guy has been saying the exact same thing.
But
So what I'm
we-
trying to say, why do we believe that this time is the same? It's
I think it
it's
was.
true this time.
I think it was more of a show of force. Like, let's get this. Like
show of force of what?
peace,
Peace?
because he's trying to negotiate a peace between Israel and Iran. And what happened? Now there's a ceasefire.
Okay. Ceasefire.
Like, look
that
at what we
was-
could
that
do.
was broken an hour later.
Look what we could do. Now,
Listen, we can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we should.
and they turned back around when they were going to hit. They were going to hit him again. And
I know, but they attacked an American base in Qatar. Even though gladly there wasn't
Yeah.
many casualties.
They had
Were there any
to.
casualties in Qatar?
No.
I don't remember.
Nope. And they had
gladly,
to.
no casualties.
We shot everything out of the
Okay,
air.
but imagine if Qatar didn't and they killed Americans. For what?
What?
Show
Let's just say that maybe Iran had to show face, so they did what they did, knowing that it wasn't going to affect. Because if they hit Qatar and killed Americans, we'll just take them off the map. We'll blow them the off the map.
I know that. What I'm trying to say, I'm almost certain there are many other ways to propose mediation, to propose
He's been
peace.
doing it. He's been doing it. He's been doing it. That's what I'm saying. This guy is.
This is the way he's been doing it. He has been saying, Iran, you have 60 days, okay, to give me a call, pretty much get on your knees and apologize and end this shit once and for all. And obviously, Iran is not going to do that. They're not going to look like a clown, first and foremost in front of their people, second in front of the world.
53% of the people or more in Iran want a new government.
Listen,
Okay.
that's a different story.
Well, I'm just
That has
the
nothing-
mullahs.
that has-
They want him gone.
Listen,
They
that
want
has-
him gone.
That has nothing to do with us attacking a foreign country, especially if they're not attacking us, especially if they are not at war with the United States. You want to change a government? It's not going to be your first time overthrowing a government. We've been doing this for years, for hundreds of years, actually. We've been overthrowing governments so they can be friendly, so they can be our allies. And, the Shah was one of them. We overthrew the Iranian democratically elected president or prime minister, Mossadegh, and in 1953. We elected. I don't know why I'm saying we elected. Iranians elected their candidate to run their country, and then in 53 we overthrew that and we installed the Shah. Okay, and then the Shah. I don't know what happened with the Shah, and then the Ayatollah came in and overthrew the Shah, and we've had the Shah since '79. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, it's not going to be our first time. If we want to really care to overthrow a government, we could have done it. If the Mossad has all those agents in Iran, how do you think they know exactly where every single general, every single military leader lives on what floor in this room?
Yeah.
How do you think?
Well, maybe when we put Saddam Hussein in power and he was keeping control of all those territories, and then we took him out. And now we took out Gaddafi, and we took out all these other generals. I mean, not generals, presidents. Also, Obama has dropped more bombs on countries without going to Congress.
Listen, who cares?
But I'm just saying, like, this is once.
But just because somebody else did it, it doesn't mean Obama did it. Oh, if he did it,
wait, who's crying the loudest? Who's crying the loudest? The Democrats. They didn't cry when he was doing it.
When who was Obama was doing it?
When Obama was doing it.
Listen, I don't care about Obama.
I'm just saying that
I'm
it's
talking about the current U.S. government, the U.S. leadership right now, how it's going to affect me, you, and everybody else in this country. It doesn't matter what we did 20 years ago. What matters is
affecting
what we
you
do now.
Is it affecting you?
I don't know.
Of course, it's not.
You don't know that. If they close the Strait of Hormuz and I don't get my oil, which 20% of world's oil, 1/5 of the world's oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz, which is through Iran. Okay, your gas price is going to go up.
Gas is down. Oil is down right now.
For now.
He bombed and oil's down.
After he bombed, actually no. After he bombed, oil prices went up. I think $3 or $4. Just something like that. You don't have to check. Like $3 or $4.
It's
something.
down.
Yeah. Okay, it's down now, but because they haven't closed the Strait of Hormuz. They voted on it. Their parliament voted on it, but there is another part in their government that has to accept the vote, and they haven't yet.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did. Vote
Okay,
for Trump.
then let him do his job.
Okay, listen,
Let him
that,
do his
but
job.
Doesn't mean I can't critique.
Of
can't
course.
voice my opinion. That doesn't mean that.
Of course
But
it doesn't.
One of the things I voted on is because he was constantly preaching how these previous administrations, don't know what they're doing. They can't negotiate. They always drag us into these endless,
He's talking about Joe Biden.
endless wars. Joe Biden. Where were we at war under Joe Biden?
Ukraine.
We weren't at war in Ukraine.
We were sending them billions of dollars in
That's
armament.
a different story. Yeah, I get
Okay,
that. And
well,
we shouldn't have done
yeah.
that either. And I've advocated against that as well. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say, during the 4-year term under Joe Biden, we weren't at war anywhere. We didn't attack anybody. We didn't declare war.
We were still on war because he pulled out of fucking Afghanistan.
I know.
With a $6 billion blunder.
Out of Afghanistan.
Had our troops were killed during that. So I mean, Joe Biden was a boob.
Listen, I know he was in.
He wasn't even running things.
Yes, we know that, the auto pen.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but
the auto pen. Apparently, that he didn't sign executive orders.
Yeah.
He didn't sign documents.
Everybody else did. They pushed the button.
With his signature. But what I'm saying, one of the things that I voted for Trump was because he was constantly advocating and preaching that nobody knows how to negotiate. I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. I know how to negotiate. I can call up these people and talk to them, and I will make sure we don't get ourselves into any type of war.
So we're not in a war yet.
And look what happened 6 months after he got elected. We're in war.
Daddy has not brought us into war yet.
Can you please pull that? Can you pull that up, Tom? Trump was called Daddy by the NATO chief. Did you see that?
Yeah, I thought it was disrespectful.
I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like 2 kids in a schoolyard. They fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
But I mean, look, he kind of is. I mean, I gotta give it to him. I think he's a resilient leader. He knows what he wants. It's besides the point. Me, condemning what he's doing, but he is kind of him, Putin, Xi Jinping. I think they're the daddies of the world. Are they not?
No.
If you think about it, they're
Leaders,
the
I
three,
wouldn't call
they
them
are the
daddies.
three superpowers.
I think calling them daddy is a disrespectful thing to say because that's what like prostitutes call their Johns.
Well, that's what kind of Trump is right now. He's kind of like the pimp. If you really think about it, he's running the show.
He is in every way. He goes to the NATO. He said, "Hey, you know what? You got to raise your, you got to put 5% of your GDP into the military." And guess what? They're gonna do it.
Well, why are we putting all the money into to secure their safety over there? Let them take care of their. So yeah,
100%.
so you got to tell them that they need to do this. It's just because people are just relying on us to do everything in this country, and they're bleeding us dry, and they're invading our country. And this guy has got so much stuff on his plate, and he's trying to negotiate peace between these knuckleheads that don't want to sit down at the table and negotiate peace. And he's starting to call them out. He called out Putin. He's calling people out now, and he's getting fed up. So look at you don't want to listen. Watch what can happen. Boom.
Speaking of Putin, he could have called up Putin. He could have called up Xi Jinping and said, "Hey, why don't you call the Ayatollah and tell him, hey, man, just cut it out."
Because they don't want that.
Call Netanyahu and say, "Hey, man, this has to end."
Do you think China wants us gone? Russia wants us. They want us gone.
I know, but they're not stupid. They know we're going to be around forever, kind of.
But they're
How
trying
are
to
we
get.
gonna be gone?
We got people coming
Iran
in.
is going to take us out.
Well, we're going to be taken out from the inside. Lincoln, they all said it. I believe Lincoln said it, that we're going to be taken out from. The only way we could be destroyed is from the inside, and that's what they're doing.
That's why we have that amendment to the right to bear arms, so we can fight against the
but
government.
they are trying to take that away. The Democrat woke
I hope not.
idiots are really they want to get rid of guns.
Like you said, the founding fathers knew something. If a government is oppressing its own people and it is organizing against its own people, therefore we have the right to bear arms to fight against an illegitimate government. But
I agree. Like I told my kids, they're like, well, would you be mad if we got into a war in the Middle East and we didn't go and we went to another country? I said, no, go. I want you to go.
yeah,
Now you come on my country, then I will say you strap on a gun and we're going to fight. If we're going to fight with these so-called people trying to rile gangs up, like the 13th Street gang is going to go fight the American government and win. These people are
John,
just
can you pull
lunatics.
up, the vice mayor of Cudahy, calling on gangs to attack ICE.
Not for nothing, but I want to know where all the cholos are at in Los Angeles. 18th Street, Florencia. Where's the leadership at? Because you guys are all about territory, and this is 18th Street, and this is Florencia. You guys tag everything up, claiming hood. And now that your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang there ain't a peep out of you. It's everyone else who's not about the gang life that's out there protesting and speaking up. We're out there like fighting our turf, protecting our turf, protecting our people. And like, where you at? Bien calladitos, todos los chulitos. I'm like, dude, they're running amok all up on your streets and in your city. And peep, when the big gang guns come in, nothing but like quiet, and we're out here, the regular ones that have never been jumped in, out here calling things out, trying to organize people, trying to do the thing. So don't be trying to claim no block, no nothing. If you're not showing up right now, trying to like help out and organize, I don't want to hear a peep out of you once they're gone, trying to claim that this is my block. This was not your block. You weren't even here helping out. So whoever's the leadership over there, just
Shut the up.
I think she's at some party. I think she's drunk, and I think should be
Arrested.
She should be recalled, and she should be definitely
Arrested.
because
Tell
no matter what gangs do or they don't do, I don't think a member of any government should call out criminals to come and fight against their own government.
I think that these gangs are smarter than that. I
course
think
they are.
They're not going to listen to this.
She's the one
fucking-
who's stupid, by
Yeah.
the way. The gangs are not going to come out and fight against ICE because nobody wants to get arrested instantly and go to jail forever, you know. Anyways,
This is the leadership. How do these friggin' people get into
elected,
office?
right?
I don't understand.
Me neither. I don't understand. Or they get elected and then they open up their face mask, you know, like Robert Greene says all the time, everybody's wearing a mask, and you know, whenever they need to take it out, they do. And this was the time, and she was drunk. Clearly, she was intoxicated.
At least her lipstick matched her earrings. I thought that was really, really.
I
Great.
think she should be. I mean, the Democrats should. I'm sure she's a Democrat.
Well, I just want to say this real fast. Imagine if a vice mayor who was far right called on the Proud Boys or the KKK.
Same thing. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, here's my thing. We're not hearing about this like if it happened on the other side.
Even if it was a Republican and they called the KKK or called on the Proud Boys to do the exact same thing that this lady is preaching,
Yeah.
makes no difference for me.
It doesn't make a difference, but here's my thing. It's not getting the coverage that it deserves. This is insane. She's literally calling for an uprise
Do you know
against a government agency.
Do you know the size of Cudahy?
I have no idea.
It's a tiny city. Their population is, I don't know, maybe 50,000 people. Can you Google the population of Cudahy? I think it's like 50,000 people, maybe a little bit more than that. But they are a very tiny city in the county of Los Angeles. They're next to Huntington Park and that area. Cudahy, Cudahy. How many people live there? Well, less than, 23,000 people. That's how she got elected. 23,000 people. 50, yeah. I mean, 23,000 people is I don't think it's enough for the whole world to find out who she is. But with this, maybe she can get the limelight and, you know, be known and possibly become mayor of the city.
Yeah, they'll vote for her. ICE officers are doing their job. What are they supposed to do? This is the job they signed up for. Maybe when they signed up years ago, they didn't realize it was going to get so hectic. But they're just doing their job. Let them do their job. They're going to attack them? They're not attacking. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. It doesn't matter if they're doing the right job or the wrong job, but like you said, they're doing their job. They've been told, hey, this is what you have to do. This is what needs to be done, and I don't think anybody should attack any law enforcement.
I had a discussion with a very liberal woke woman the other day, and you know, I went down to the Pacific Palisades with my daughter on Monday, and we drove through. You can go through it, and it was just incredible, the amount of damage, the structures that were, you know, I would take my kids to school, and it's just decimated over there. Like, and I did some research, and it's like over 5,000 of those houses were built before 1980, when they had that proposition where you cannot reassess property.
Property tax?
Yeah. So I was just talking to this person. I go, there was no water in the reservoir. All this stuff was happening. I go, you think maybe they just wanted to get rid of all those old houses so they have to rebuild and they're going to get more tax money for the property? And I was just, you know,
speculating,
spitballing. And they're like, that's such a conspiracy theory. That would never happen. And I go, well, really? They marched 6 million Jews into friggin' concentration camp. The people didn't know what they were doing. They could do anything. The governments have been known to be evil.
Yeah.
I said, so, and she goes, the only evil person out there is Donald Trump. And I go, okay, conversation's over.
I think, you know, that's the problem with America, that their brains are short-wired. They can't think outside of the box. They only can comment on political rhetoric that is popular. They can only say popular opinions. And that's what sucks about America, I think, right now. People don't think for themselves. They are heavily influenced by a lot of social media posts, and you know, that
memes
and
Occupy Democrats is
like
the worst.
Like my friend says, memes. He was
You use.
he was saying memes. We laughed so hard that day, but they're influenced by those memes and social media posts, and they don't redo their own research. They just see a post, and this post can be a fake, and there are a bunch of it like that. And especially now with AI going on, what do you think is going to happen? People that want to influence public opinion are going to have these AI models, men, women, who are going to look very real. And a lot of people are not going to be able to tell the difference, especially people who don't do their own research, who don't have the familiarity of knowing the difference between an AI model and a real person. They're going to say, oh my God, look, he or she's so right. They're giving out these points, but that may not be correct. That may not be factual.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to go, take their time of the day and say, Google, hey, whatever this he or she's saying, is this true kind of, They don't look at history. They don't learn. They just, whatever, Twitter says and Instagram says and YouTube says, that's law. That is law. And that's very unfortunate. And that's how America is being shaped slowly.
So what do you think of Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I have no clue who Aaron Rodgers is. I hope that is not
All right, Tom, what do you think?
too ignorant of me.
What do you think of Aaron Rodgers being quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers for a year?
Aaron Rodgers is a burnout. He's an NFL legend, don't get me wrong. But I don't understand why you'd enter a game. You've been in for 17 years, is that right? He's been playing for 17 years. I think it's time for him to hang it up. He got a cheap contract with the Steelers, which good for them, but the Steelers have nothing to back it with, okay? They have no O-line. Their running back just left town. Their wide receivers are decimated. I mean, yeah, they just picked up a great tight end who's also a veteran, but who do they have?
But Warren was a better running back than the one that left.
Oh, no. I disagree.
Oh,
Najee Harris was a beast.
no, he wasn't.
Are you kidding me?
I watched every game. He was not a
He was
beast.
a starter for 5 years.
Doesn't matter.
Led the division for 2 years in rushing.
You're
telling
gonna
me he's bad?
you're gonna put him in the category with Derrick Henry. You're gonna put it. Okay, that's a beast.
Yeah,
He was
Harris
not a
is
beast.
Najee Harris is a great route runner. He
was
knows how to run
okay.
the ball.
He was no Le'Veon Bell.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah. But you know what? He did the job, and they got rid of him. Hey Joe, I'm sorry.
No, go on.
No, this is awesome.
I want Clippers to be the next NBA champions. That's all.
Well, the Celtics just got rid of Porzingis and
Hi.
Now, it's NBA draft, huh?
Today,
Holiday.
Number one guy is supposed to be a white boy from Duke
No way.
who was born in Maine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
White people coming back to the league.
Dude, it's a white boy summer. I'm so excited. It's our summer, boys.
That's right.
Not mine. Yours.
No,
Yours.
you're white. What are you talking
Yours
about?
and Rob's summer.
Wait, you're not white?
I'm Caucasian. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay. It's a white boy summer.
When we say white, we mean Indo-Europeans.
Oh, wow. You're white. You're just a tan white. That's all what you are.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yes.
mutt. I'm a mutt.
Yeah.
No, you're a wop.
Tom is like super
Yep.
white.
Oh, yeah,
And,
I don't look at you like you're white, too. I think you're like
he's Scottish and Ukrainian.
Irish. Don't get...
Irish, excuse me. Irish and
Insulting
Ukraine.
son of a
Oh my
bitch.
God, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Are you from Belarus, by the way?
Oh no, I'm
you're
not.
from Belarus, right?
No, I'm not from Belarus.